folk tale entitled Tsuru no Onegaeshi, or The Grateful Crane. Winter that year was cruel beyond memory. The wind screamed across the land like a starving beast, and snow fell relentlessly, burying the world in cold and silent. In a remote village stood a withered cottage where an old man named Yohei lived alone. His days were quiet, his nights were colder, and loneliness was his only companion. One frozen evening, as he walked home with nothing but an empty respect, Yohei heard a cry slashing through the wind. Curious and concerned, he followed the sound and found a crane struggling in a hunter's trap. Its feathers were tangled, its wings wounded, its eyes filled with pain and fear. Moved by compassion, Yohei kneeled beside the bird and tangled the rope carefully and whispered, "Live freely, little ones." With trembling wings, the crane rose into the sky and vanished like a silver dream against the falling snow. Yohei returned to his silent home, and aware that his act of kindness has already begun to change fate. A stranger at the door. That very night, as Yohei warmed himself, but the weak glow of his heart a soft knock echoed through the house. When he opened the door, he found a young woman standing in the snow. She wore a white kimono, her cheek flushed pink from the cold, and her eyes glimmered like moonlight on ice. "I have no place to go," she said gently. "May I stay here for a while?" Through the surprise, Yohei could not turn her away. He inferred her insight, offered her warmth, and soon learned her name, Osuru. From that moment forward, Yohei home was no longer silent. Osuru cooked warm meals, swept the floor, and filled the house with gentle laughter, like spring blossom blooming in winter. Yohei, once alone, began to feel happiness as fragile and bright as moonlight, morning light. The, weave, the weaving began. Days passed, and Otsuru approached Yohei once morning with calm sincerity. "I wish to weave a special cloth. We could sell it in town and live more comfortably. But I ask one promise. You must never watch me while I work." Yohei agreed. For 3 days and night, the small room trembled with the rhythm of weaving. The sound was soft, yet just the sound was soft, yet steady, like the heartbeat of a hidden miracle. When Arthur finally emerged, she looked pale and weary, but in her hands she held a silk cloth more beautiful than anything Yohei had ever seen. It shimmered like starlight coated with snow, soft as breath, light as a winter feather. Yohei sold the cloth in town for a high price. For the first time in many years, his home was filled with rice, warmth, and hope. But each time Otsuru wove another cloth, she grew weaker, her hands soft, her face turned as white as the snow outside. Her smile faded like frost melting under dawn. Curiously began to gnaw at Yohei her dark relations and impossible to ignore. The secret behind the door. On the seventh night, Yohei could bear it no longer. As weaving echoed through the house, he slayed the door open just a crack, and what he saw frozen inside the room was not a Tsuru, but a crane, a pure white crane, pulling its own feathers one by one into threads of shimmering silk. Each feather removed caused pain, yet the crane continued weaving with devotion and love. You heard whisper. The crane stopped, turned, and slowly transformed again into the woman he had come to cherish, fragile, fire, but with eyes still gentle as a falling snow. I am the crane you saved, she whispered. I wish to repay your kindness with these shields, but now that you've seen my true form, I cannot remain. Your stripped forward, trembling, began her to say, but Otsuru won only smiled softly, a smile full of warmth, sorrow, and gratitude. The goodbye, with a final breath, Otsuru's shape shimmered and dissolved into feathers and light. The crane stood where the once was weaker than before, but grateful still. She spread her wings beneath the pale moonlight. Thank you, Yohei, she sang softly. I will never forget your kindness. As long as I fly beneath the sky, your memory will live with me. Then, with one slow, aching beat of her wings, she lifted into the night, up through the snow, through the wind, through the silver glow of the winter moon, until she became nothing more than a distant white speck in the sky. You had stood alone in the doorway, snow gathering at his feet, a single feather resting in her hand, in his hand. From that night, he lived not with regrets, but with memory, a memory of kindness, prepared with love, and a friend who returned only to say thank you.